Hey everyone, it's Renee.
And Gil from the Relationship Refuge.
Hi, thank you. Thank you. So we are here at the Barnes and Noble in Marietta on,
Roswell Road, 4475 East Cobb.
yes, we are. And so since the weather has kept a lot of you guys away, we decided
We still
that
showing up
we're still here.
because we came from Texas, and I know we still gonna do what we say we're gonna do.
Yes, we're people of our word. And
So
so what we're going to do is tonight, just that you see, we're here in Roswell. And this is the book, The Singles Blueprint for Dating and Marriage. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the chapters of the book. And we'll each share something from one of our favorite chapters in the book. And we'll let you, if you guys have questions, you have comments, things you want to know, feel free to put it in the comments. When you come in, let us know where you're coming in from. And I am going to start out with the question that a lot of people have, and it's in chapter 2, and it's understanding the difference between dating and going out. And I think we kind of have talked about this before, but I think that sometimes people kind of get caught up in the details and they don't understand that most people know how to hook up, but very few people understand what dating is for.
we talked about this before about the purpose of actually going out and dating. When you think about it, when you first start out, most of the time you're just going out and hanging out, which is what you should be doing. But when you move from going out to dating, that's where that transition happens. And that's what you should have an intentional plan for what you're trying to accomplish when it comes to your relationship.
And in the book, it says dating with clarity and intentionality. How many of you date with clarity and intentionality? Just starting off with that part. So that's a good question. Are you dating with clarity? Do you understand that? And does the person you're dating have the same understanding of where you are in a relationship? I think that what happens a lot of times for women, we think that because we're spending time together, that we're dating, and we're really just going out. So I think it's important that you both have the same definition. You're both on the same page, so that if you guys, if you're just going out and the girl thinks you're dating, then there's no clarity in that. So I think it's important that you have to both, and that requires that you do something that we always talk about. How is communication? And it's really making sure that you're communicating not with aggression, but with being assertive and really making sure that you sit down and talk about it. Are we going out or are we dating?
Right. And sometimes you can be in a situation where you just wanted to be out and hanging out with someone just because you enjoy their company and you enjoyed their presence and just being there with them. But then somehow, some way, sometimes if it's uncommunicated, it can transition into something that it is not, which is the dating phase. Sometimes you can just be looking to have a good companion that you just enjoy, say a mutual activity that you both like enjoy, say like pickleball or going to the movies or dancing or whatever. And next thing you know, a transition happens and someone thinks you're actually dating when you're really not.
Yeah, and so I think that's something that has to be communicated. How many of you understand the difference between going out and dating? So hopefully, if you read the book, it will help you to have a better understanding of the difference. Going out is just something you're doing. You're gathering information. You're getting to know the person. But I think that the first person you have to go out with is yourself. Just have one. We're gonna. It's just important that you go out with yourself and understand that this book is designed to help you to really learn how to spend some time with yourself so that you know what you want and what you're looking for and what's important to you. And the only way that's going to happen is if you take the long journey inward.
And before we actually go on to some of the other topics, why don't you talk to them about why we actually decided to actually write the book?
Okay. The reason why we decided to write this book is because it's called The Singles Blueprint for Dating and Marriage. The reason why we wrote this book was because we both felt that so many times there's so much out there for married couples, and everyone is trying to help married couples, and everyone's excited about engaged couples, but we realize that we underestimate the value of the single stage, And singles are probably the biggest population. And so why not help people in the beginning of the journey before they start dating, before they get into a committed relationship, so that they can go into the next phase of their life being prepared as an individual to be able to give themselves away.
You know, we were talking about this with my aunt and uncle that were staying here in
Auntie
Atlanta with
Velma,
it
Auntie
and Kelly.
Kelly.
We were just talking about just the things about being married because we've been married 35 years. They've been married over 40 plus. And so when we were talking about it, when you're, even if depending on how you were raised and how you were brought up, maybe you had a mom and dad in the household, maybe you didn't, but then you think about who taught you how to establish those relationships when you were single, or who taught you how to do things, whether it's communication and conflict resolution. Where did you learn those lessons from? And unfortunately, most of the time it's through trial and error. We learn it just from doing, and sometimes you're going to get it right, sometimes you're going to get it wrong. But if you don't have a clear pattern or process of how you're going to accomplish that, that getting it right and getting it wrong can become an inconsistent pattern that you're going to constantly do over your relationship time. And next thing you know, you're not going to know what it takes to resolve something or to repeat it, those repeatable processes. And it's not something that you become like a robot with, but you're going to find people who have been in successful relationships over a longer period of time have an established pattern and habit that they've developed between the two of them mutually that works.
Yeah, and no matter the differences in ages and difference in income, most couples who are successful have some of the same habits and values and mindsets. And Uncle Kelly and I were talking about it, and I can say this, and I really believe this, is that the people who do best in life are the ones who are good listeners. The more you have to learn from experience, the more challenging and the more time you're going to have to take versus if you are a good listener. If you listen and you let people lead and guide and direct you and mentor you, you're more likely to not to waste time. So we always talk about living a life with fewer regrets and shortening your learning curve. And the way we're going to shorten your learning curve is by provide you with the tools, the training, and the community that you need to have healthy, rich relationships.
So while we're here at the Barnes & Noble out here in Marietta at the Roswell Road location, 4475 Roswell Road, this is something that we wanted to do to come out and just meet the community. We understand everybody's bracing down for the hurricane coming, and we came all the way from Texas, so we decided to still come out. If anybody shows up, if you can make it down here, good, but don't do something that's unsafe. And if you feel hazardous about driving, don't. That's why we decided to come to you,
to go live
right where you're at. And so we're sharing some of the tips on the singles blueprint to dating and marriage.
We're not going to share everything because you need to come to this
store
get the
and
book.
Buy them.
You can actually come to this location. The books are going to be here. They're going to have them at this location. So if you don't get to come out today to the book signing, please come over to this location and purchase a copy. And if there's a Barnes & Noble closer to you, you can actually go, but you're going to have to order. This store actually physically will have the books in the store. So if you want to come and physically get a book, please come over to the Roswell Road location. It'll be I'll put it in the description as well.
Yeah. So one of the things we're doing is just sharing to you some of the highlights and some of the chapters out of the book about, so what is the book really all about? We kind of talked to you and shared some of those things, but this one, enlightenment and becoming a couple. You know, I think
what chapter is that?
This is actually chapter 5. One thing that I liked about the book was we use real world scenarios. We have two fictitious characters.
And it's not somebody that we know. So just because we use your name, it wasn't you. We didn't use any of our couples.
So if you look at it and you look at some of the things in the book, and we talk about using from the chapter, if we talk about enlightenment where you become a couple, we actually use two people who are actually on this dating journey.
Yes.
So you actually see the transition, and you can see some of the things that we talk about, some of the principles of what happens when you transition from one stage to the next. So when you become that couple, we talk about discovering the compatibility of shared values, visions, and dreams. I think sometimes when you're going through that dating phase, and this is the time where you should be spending a lot of time not only talking, but what are you talking about? You should be able to talk about some of your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, your goals, because this is the person that's going to be partnered in with you. And over the time period that you're together, this person should be helping you achieve those. You know, the Bible talks about the woman being the helpmate of the man, and it's not just you or Renee is just partnering in me as I accomplish my goal and my vision. Well, it's us as a tandem and as a team to do something. Because I would be the first to tell you, Renee is the primary writer. She is a writer and she does a lot of the things. I'm just helping her, y'all. I mean, let's just be honest. I'm helping her do her thing, which is cool.
And I'm
and I
helping
don't,
you do your thing.
and it's fun.
I'm helping him discover his thing.
And it's enjoyable. But when you think about it, there's going to be a time where you help each other achieve their goals and their dreams. And dating, where you before you even transition into the couple, that's where you should be talking about a lot of these things, because
And
that's
it's
where it's gonna
finding
help.
out, in the going out stage, because before you can get to engaged, you got to go out. And going out is just kind of like, as our pastors say, kicking the tires. It's just getting to see if this person is someone that you would like to date. So if you just say, hi, how you doing, let's date, then unfortunately you haven't really been honest with yourself to get to know the person. And so through this whole process of taking the steps necessary to give yourself the time, it's going to really help you to kind of really slow down, be intentional, and really have an idea of, well, what are your dreams, or what are your goals. Because one of the things that I can say about Gil and I, we talked about everything, and to this day we still talk about everything. And so communication is the most important tool that we can develop and cultivate in an individual relationship as well as in relationships with other people.
Because believe it or not, guess what? You are going to change over the lifespan of your
Oh my
relationship.
goodness, yes.
I'm going to date. I always say it's so funny when you think about it. I done had 3 different women, and it's all in one
Just 3?
package. Well, I'm just paraphrasing. I'm just giving
I'm
it.
sure I've been more than 3.
Probably, and I've probably been multiple guys. But
Yeah.
because as you change and you age and you get older, you get wiser, you get more experience about things. Your goals and your dreams and visions are going to change, and you want to be along with someone who is along with you for the ride to those changes, and hopefully that they're
And who is
positive.
open to you changing and not holding you
Yeah.
to the person you were. Because who I was when I was 21 is not the same person that I am at 56 years old.
Right. So, chapter 6. How about we do this? How about we go through each chapter and just pick one principle or one topic, and we'll just share a little bit of the dialogue with it.
Yeah.
So, chapter 6, practical tips for a Christ-centered dating. So, when you think about this, how about this one? Dating with integrity and purity, and honoring God with physical boundaries. Go.
The reason why boundaries are important, and I love to say that boundaries are an inward swinging door. If you go into a relationship without having established your own personal boundaries, then what you're going to do is you're going to set yourself up for, because they say if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for everything. If you've not already decided what are your deal breakers, then you're going to have to figure that out while you're going throughout the process. So it's just important for you to know, no, I'm not going to kiss you on the first date. No, I'm not going to go to your room at night. It's important that you establish those personal boundaries, those things in your life that you're going to say no to as an individual, so that when I meet him, I already know what I'm going to say no to. I'm not just figuring out as we go along.
You know what's so good? This is one of those things that overlaps from chapter 1 that we actually talk about with the going out versus dating.
Right.
This is the time that you want to set up those boundaries to keep your relationship as pure as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And we talk about it from a Christ-centered perspective because that's what we believe. You guys who watched us and shared with us, y'all know that's the foundation for everything that we write,
Jesus.
everything that we talk about. So that's the focus that we want to do when it comes to books and even these talks that we have, that if you look at that as set up boundaries from both sides. Sometimes people think that it's always the guy who is always out for the physical of the relationship.
Sometimes it's the girl, because it was me.
In this day and time, the roles have definitely reversed, I would say, even in this capacity, to where you see women are becoming a lot more aggressive, but girls become a lot more aggressive about what they want. Yeah, assertive when it comes to what they want. No, I'm saying aggressive intentionally, because they're being aggressive about what they want. It's almost like they want to kick the tires. You said it before, try things out before you even go down that road. Well, that's something that is so small when you look at the entirety of your relationship.
But if you start off with that, it can create such a it makes the water very muddy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go into something with something that has that is small, it plays a very small part in your in the life of your relationship. But if you start off with it, it will actually set you up for failure in the life of your relationship.
Oh yeah,
So you don't want
absolutely.
to lead with something that has a small part, because if you lead with something that has a small part in the value of your relationship, you're going to devalue your relationship by doing that.
So that's what we talk about in chapter 6. But chapter 7, we have talked about overcoming obstacles in dating. No matter what relationship, even when you go from the dating phase, even to when you are together, married, or even say you're engaged, you're going to have obstacles that come along the way. And I like talking about this one because we kind of have touched a little bit about this with a couple that we were recently talking to when it comes to handling outside influences. And when we say that, we're talking about family, friends, and cultural expectations.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't realize the impact of the relationships that we had before because we're bringing those old relationships into our present relationship. So it's important that you kind of establish some ground rules for yourself and not comparing the person that you're with now with the person that you're with before.
Some of those outside influences, when you think about it, maybe it's someone that you really respect. It could be parents, extended family, like my aunt and uncle, who are very big influencers with us, your pastor, your coaches,
Yeah.
somebody just you respect and that you respect their opinions about things and about life. But you also got to remember that they are influencers, and influencers can affect everything that you do. They're advisors. They're the ones that are bringing you good information, and it's up to you to ultimately decide,
If you're
am
going
I
to do
going
it
to
or
take
not.
it? And that's so important. But then sometimes you have outside influences that are
That can
from
be
a
negative.
negative.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead. You can
Right.
start off with
Yeah.
that one.
And it's important to understand, we always say this, you need to make sure that when you're talking about your marriage relationship, we're not talking about, because in the dating stage, you need to be very open to people sharing wisdom and insight and what they see. Because, and especially if you have not become physical, it's easier for you to be objective when someone tells you something that they see. It's easier for you to be objective when you've not added the physical element.
Right?
Hello there,
We have
Navon.
friends that are just popping in.
Come
So
on,
go ahead,
Navon, and
go
say
ahead,
hi.
go jump on. Renee, he ain't gonna be on the camera, but Renee. So I'll continue to do this. So when we talk about this, those influences that actually come up, when you think about the negative aspects of the influences, those are the ones that you want to make sure that you're not only taking their advice and thinking about what they're saying, but you want to make sure you guard and protect the relationships that you have, especially with the ones that you're trying to establish a long-term relationship. So that's what we're talking. Renee is meeting one of the friends who stopped by today. We are at, just in case you're just jumping on, we are at the Barnes and Noble in at Marietta, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, at 4475 Cobb Road, for the rich relationships to dating and marriage. So come on out and check it out and see what it's all about. That's what we're actually doing here. So we're doing it here at the actual on-site at the book signing for it. And so because we know people with the weather, the way it is right now, I think it's, if you're watching the news, it's a hurricane notice actually in effect for the area. So we actually have heavy rain that's actually going on right now. So we are actually here to deal with and to do here at this location. So what we're talking about is the Singles Blueprint. This is the book that we're actually doing here at the Barnes and Noble location to dating and marriage. And so while Renee is actually talking to the friend that just showed up here, we're going to continue on what we're talking about. So that was in chapter
You're
7.
gonna talk about, and
Okay,
I'm gonna
so
switch.
Renee
So we're
going to talk
gonna,
about chapter 8.
and
What's up?
so we're gonna switch places because this is someone that we don't get to see that often. We love that people understand that when we say we're really about relationships, we really are. And so it's good when your friends pop up and show up to support you. Um, Gil was talking about chapter 8. Let's see. Okay. it's so ironic. It's the role of community. How many of you don't have a community? How many of you don't have a church community, a friend community? We all need community. We need people. We were talking about this, the importance of having people around you so you can do life with. When we're doing life alone, there's nothing wrong with solitude. There's nothing wrong with alone time, but you do not want to live your life without community because there's safety, there's encouragement, there's support. You need to get in community. So that's what chapter 8 is about. Chapter 8 is about the importance of having community. Because so many times as couples don't have other people to go to and talk to. Even when you're in the dating stage, one of the things we talked about in the other chapter was about purity. It's so important when you find other couples who are trying to walk on the path of purity just like you are. And I know that that may sound like a very antiquated word in this generation, but purity not only helps you sexually, it helps you emotionally, it helps you physically, it helps you in all areas. So it's important that you understand, hey, so we have more people coming in, hello there. So we have more people who are showing up for the book signing. But as we're doing it, we're going to kind of, you and I are going to kind of switch in and out. But right now, I just want you to understand the importance. We all need community. We all need people who know, like, and love us. We need that. It's important. So because we have people who are starting to come in, we are going to finish this live later on. But we just wanted to stop in and get started and let you guys know what's going on, what's in this book. So if you don't come to the book signing tonight, please come over to this location and purchase a copy. But as we have people come in, we want to be with them and be in their presence. So we love you guys. Thank you so much for watching this live. Share with your friends and family. We'll actually create some more content around it and share the rest of our trip with you. But you need to get this book, The Singles Blueprint for Dating and Marriage. It's only 12 chapters, things for you to know and practice and to implement into your life. So we love you, and we will see you guys later. Bye.